And finally, just to get a quest and the answers of to what exactly the governors are up to and whether the counties will survive, KTN spoke to Devolution Secretary Anne Waiguru. She is optimistic about the future of the counties, but warns against extravagance. Here now is an excerpt of the interview with KTN's Yvonne Okwara.
What would you say have been the milestones in the first 100 days in office?
I'll start with the youth and gender issues. We know that His Excellency made a promise during the campaigns that in the event that there was no re-election, 6 billion of that money, which was intended for the runoff, would be channeled to a youth fund, youth and women fund. And what we've managed to do now is that we have already developed a framework, as he promised that he would manage to do that within 100 days. That framework is done. The fund is now called Uwezo Fund, and we are now working to put modalities in place to build the capacity of the institutions that will be used for disbursement and management of these resources, and also the beneficiaries of these resources at the constituency level.
From various quarters, in television and amongst political leaders, you take a look at certain accusations that have been made against the national government, saying that there is a lot of hindrance towards full devolution. What do you have to say about that?
I don't think there has been any hindrance whatsoever from the national government. I think the national government is fully committed. I've always said that the fact that they even have a ministry called Devolution and Planning is just a key indicator of the commitment of His Excellency and the Deputy and the government as a whole to ensuring that devolution works. In addition to that, we have been very supportive of the establishment of the county governments. You know that so far, we have started the process of the transition. The institutional framework has been put in place, and the government has been supportive of that. The Council of Governors are established. We are housing the Council of Governors here in Nairobi. The office is here in Nairobi, and we support that. We've also supported the allocation of the resources. We know that the Constitution provided for minimum 15%. But what is not getting heard out there is that this government has actually put in that to 10%, over 30%, more than 2 times what the Constitution gave as a minimum to the devolved governments. And that is a clear sign of the absolute commitment of the government. Another issue is that there is a structure that is set up called the Summit, where His Excellency sits with the governors to deliberate on matters that relate to intergovernmental relations. And that first main summit has already happened, where certain decisions have been made, which are being followed up by the various ministries in terms of implementation. So if you ask me about the commitment of the government has been fully supportive of devolution, and we expect to see the continued support by the national government to ensure that this is actually a success.
Kenyans get concerned when they see some of the budget proposals that have been made by governors. We have governors living in hotels. We have lavish spending, reports of that. What role does your ministry have?
Again, as I said, our role with regard to general performance of the counties is to support them. And as we go along, the laws are very clear on what the role should be of the ministry. Section 1, I think 21 of the County Government Act is clear on the role of the ministry responsible for intergovernmental relations in terms of assessing what the counties are doing, how they are performing their duties, and how then we have measures to support them in terms of capacity building and technical assistance. On the specific issues of the budget, that they're provided for with guidelines, but also the law is very clear on the process of developing the budgets. And so whereas the ministry facilitates to ensure that the institutions are working, the actual responsibility with regard to the budget is the county assembly at the county level. So we have to allow the institutions that have been mandated at the county level to carry out their respective functions, and also respond to the needs of the people, because that's what devolution is about. The devolution was to decentralize both the power and ensure that the people are making an informed choice about their own priorities. And so the institutions that have been established at the county level are expected to carry out their mandate independently.
What are your thoughts on the wrangles that are taking place between the National Assembly, between the Senate, and now it's drawn the governors into it? Do you think that rhetoric threatens the process of devolution?
No, I think it's democracy. I think we'll find our level. We expect in any transition that you will have this kind of challenges, and it's not new, it's not unusual. I don't think we're the first country to go through a transition like this.
First 100 days, easy, tough?
It is tough. It's a huge, it's a tall order. I think the expectations of the Kenyan people is very high. We feel the pressure, but we are up to it. We are working and we are committed, and that's what really matters. And we've also provided resources where resources are required. So we expect that we, despite the fact that we will experience one or two challenges, that will broadly stay on course.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Indeed. We've been speaking with Anne Waiguru, who is the Cabinet Secretary for Devolution and Planning, on the first 100 days in office and what to expect in the future.